Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I wanted to talk about why I'm buying a PlayStation 3 in 2022. So back in the day, I had both of the 7th gen consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PS3, but unfortunately I ended up having to get rid of my PS3 at one point. And now that I'm an adult and I have some disposable income, I decided to go ahead and buy a PS3 because if we learned anything from last year's fiasco, it's that when Sony goes to shut down the PS3 and Vita stores, that the prices are going to skyrocket on these games. Now, thankfully, even though prices definitely did skyrocket on a lot of games for a bit, it seems like once they brought the store, well, I guess they never took the store away, but once they kind of reversed course on the direction that they were going with taking down the PS3 and Vita store, and they were like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of backlash, we don't want to completely destroy our PR. Clearly a lot of devoted fans, we'll go ahead and we'll let you keep that, and especially with everything that Jim Ryan's been doing, it's probably the best for the best that they did that. But anyways, yeah, just in case they decide to do that again, I decided to go crazy, buy a PS3 Super Slim and a bunch of games with it. So basically, the two answers that I have to the question, in the title of the video of why I'm buying a PlayStation 3 in 2022, basically, first, I want to do this before prices could skyrocket again, and two, well, I want some fun games. And while the 360 is good and all, and the Xbox One has the backwards compatibility and some of the up-resing with some of the older games, there's a lot of exclusive games or just games that do end up running better on PS3 when it comes to a lot of the multi-platform games, especially Bethesda games, Fallout 3, New Vegas, Skyrim. They run like doo-doo on PS3 and look like doo-doo, especially with like the LOD and draw distances and pop-in and stuff like that. They're always a lot better on 360 usually, but there is a few exceptions, especially for the games that ended up being too big and requiring multiple discs on 360. For example, Final Fantasy 13, that's a train wreck on 360. There's like 3 or 4 discs for it. That's just insane. I'd rather just go with the Blu-ray on PS3, get the one disc, and I believe the graphics are better over there on PS3 because it was designed for that console first anyway. Anyway, I'm looking over here at the stack of games, and I've been going a little crazy. The last 2 weeks, I've probably spent about $200 on PS3 games, and the ones that I'm going to show you guys, this isn't even all of it, okay? I still have a lot of 8 games that I bought that's coming today, and then I have another lot of 2 of like Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 that's going to be coming, and then I ordered like 5 other PS3 games, so my games are all over the country right now, and FedEx trucks coming to me. Anyway, if you just want a nice overview real quick, here's all the games. We'll break this down. We're not going to go one by one, because as you can see, there's a good bit here, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't do this video after the rest of the games got here, because I probably wouldn't have been able to even pick the stack up. It just would have toppled over immediately. Anyway, so let's go through here and kind of talk about some of the must-have PS3 games, or in my opinion, what are some must-have PS3 games. I don't have some of the ones that I'm going to be talking about, but they're definitely games still worth getting, and I plan on getting soon. So first, let's start with Uncharted. Uncharted 1 through 3 on the PS3, you have to get it. You just have to get it for the collection. Now, if you have a PS4, you can either buy it digitally or physically, or it's also included with PS Plus Extra or Premium or one of those tiers. They have the Nathan Drake collection, which is like a remaster of the original 3 from the PS3 over on the PS4, and that's a great way to play the games. That's actually how I personally played them for the first time this year. However, I would recommend getting them physically and separately, just so you can have it for the collection, because, it's just something about playing the original version of the game on original hardware makes you appreciate it even more, because as a PS4 game, like, the 3 Uncharted games, the set pieces, they're impressive, but playing them on PS3 hardware, it's like, how is this running? Transformers, look, this is the one, like, licensed tie-in game that gets heavily slept on. Well, not this one in specific. This one's good, too, but, like, all the Transformers games, they're all pretty good across the board. One thing that the PS3 was kind of, I wouldn't say infamous for, but one nice thing about the PS3 was its collections and trilogies. However, in a sense, it was kind of infamous for because a few of them weren't very good. In particular, the Silent Hill HD collection. I know that also went over to Xbox. Well, the Xbox version is actually even worse than the PS3 version because the PS3 got a specific patch that the Xbox never got for some reason. And, yeah, it's just, that's not the way to experience Silent Hill. I wouldn't recommend giving into the secondhand gaming market and whipping out, like, $4,000 or whatever to get a copy on PS2 of Silent Hill 2, but yeah, I just rather either hold off or, I don't like to support it too much openly, but if you gotta pirate something, you gotta do it. When the companies don't give you any other option, and the only other option is to spend $4,000 on a game, that's when I can be like, okay, go ahead, pirate it. Go ahead, make your copies of your PS1 games, because I'm not paying $500 for RE2 or $4,000 for Silent Hill 2 and 3. Like, no, thank you. Anyway, Tomb Raider trilogy, absolute classic, especially the anniversary. It's a wonderful remaster of the original, and I highly recommend getting this if you have not yet. The Last of Us, this is just an obvious one. I'm not even going to talk about this one because it's been talked about to death. If you haven't played the game, just play it. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's PS3, PS4, the PS5 Part 1 edition, like, this is a game you just need to play before you die. Now, granted, in terms of gameplay itself, it's not the strongest in that department. Now, the gameplay in this game is not bad by any means, not even close. It still plays pretty well, but again, it's not the strongest. When you're playing this game, it truly is for the story and the spectacle, and connecting with the characters, getting immersed in the world, everything like that. It's one of the most immersive games I've ever played in my life. Resident Evil 5 is hit or miss. Some people call this the better Resident Evil 4, and they call this the further down the hill from what RE4 started. Seems like it's only one extreme or the other with this one. Either love it to death, or you're just like, nope, this is just more BS that RE4 started, not touching this game. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I recommend at least giving it a replay, because nowadays, I feel like this game is held up pretty well, and going back and playing it now, at first, I was a little iffy on it back in the day, but I'm starting to appreciate it more and more as the years go by. And, you know, there's some charm to the boulder punching. You know, Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, this is an amazing JRPG, and I played it, I don't think I ever even completed it back in the day, but from the time that I did spend with it, I probably put a good 20-30 hours into it back in the day, and I can say, this game from memory is freaking amazing, and I cannot wait to hop back into it. Amazing story, characters, combat, art direction, it's graphically, there's something about these games that go for these very particular art styles that hold up a lot better than games that go for a realistic style from back in the day. Because those, it's like, yeah, the technology wasn't there, it looks a little bit in the uncanny valley, but games like this that have a particular art direction, it holds up to this day, and it still plays phenomenally well. Doesn't matter what LEGO game it is, you need a LEGO game on your PS3. The Infamous games, I feel like, are a very underrated series. Now, granted, the first one, it was an okay game. Personally, I never liked this one as much, but Infamous 2, so much nostalgia for this one. This game, this came out roughly around the time when there was, like, you know, Batman Arkham coming out, and we were finally getting, like, good superhero games finally after all the crappy movie tie-in games we dealt with from, like, the beginning of the 7th gen and back. But I'll tell you what, there wasn't too many good superhero games still out at this point. This game came out, if I remember correctly, around the time that Arkham City was coming out, so the only reliable superhero games we had was either Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 or, like, you know, the Batman Arkham game. So this was another nice alternative, and to this day, it's another one that holds up, and it's also nice because you don't have to play the hero. You can also be, well, as the title says, infamous. You can be a bad guy, and I always love that to this game. It's like two games in one, two completely different paths and like dialogue things and endings in each of the Infamous games. And this one, I don't know if this one's my favorite. I really like Second Son. I know that's a hot take. Second Son might still be my favorite, but this one's real close. It really just depends on the day. Really, like, Troy Baker, his performance in that game was pretty good. Like, Troy Baker, come on. Troy Baker just plays Troy Baker in whatever games he is in. I really loved his character in that game, and also, like, the gameplay. Obviously, it's a PS4 game, so it just feels really smooth to play. GTA 4. Now, while this is definitely the inferior version compared to Xbox 360, considering this runs at 640p, the frame rate is wildly inconsistent and drops down to, like, 12 to 15 FPS as soon as you start shooting a gun, man. It's still worth the experience, and honestly, I like the color palette on this version better than the Xbox 360 version, almost, because, like, it's a warmer color palette. If you look up a video on YouTube and look up Xbox 360 versus PS3, you'll see it. The game, there's, like, very weird nuances and differences to this one compared to the Xbox 360 version. This one requires an installed GTA 4, and the Xbox 360 does not. Draw distances are better on here, but it's lower resolution. The colors are warmer, which makes it look nicer. Xbox 360 looks a little bit more washed out, but it tends to run smoother, and it has a higher resolution, and if you play it on the Xbox Series X, you get 60 FPS, so it's really just like a pick your poison thing, but for some reason, this version in particular just holds a place in my heart. The God of War Saga. Now, I can't recommend getting this particular version. I got very lucky, and when I bought this, it's crazy. This version was not even new, but it came with a code for the God of War Origins Collection, which I think I still might buy the Origins Collection physically anyway, just so I have it in case the PSN store decides to pull another fiasco and take all our games away from us. But I got this, right? And the code was actually expired by about a year or two, but when I went to put it in, it worked. It let me download it. I have both of the PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, on my account now. Again, the code was expired, so I don't even know how it worked. But this game comes with the original 3 God of War games, God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then comes with Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, and it is a very good collection. Personally, I never played the 2 PSP games, but I have played 1 through 3 in terms of the original God of Wars. You know, there's gonna be some fanboys in the comments that are like, oh, you know, the original God of War is so much better, or the new one's so much better. You know, there's people clashing on both sides of the fence there. Honestly, in terms of gameplay, this is the one. Just something about the pullback camera works with the game a lot better. You're able to see what you're doing without getting all motion sick because you're like swinging your axe and blades around all the time, and in the new one, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, the story in the new one is a lot I can't call it better because that's very subjective, but it feels a lot grander or more it's definitely not grander. I'm trying to figure out the words for this. It's like it's more personal, I guess, which makes it feel bigger than the original ones. If you like the new God of War to any capacity, I definitely recommend looking at, like, the origins of what started what you're playing now. Do you voodoo, bitch? This game was great. I remember playing it for the first time back when it was free with Xbox Live Gold on Xbox 360. Fell in love with it immediately. I actually went ahead from that point and bought a physical copy back in the day because I was like, I love this game to death. I need to make sure I have this infinitely. So I had that. Unfortunately, ended up getting rid of that when I got rid of my original PS3 as well. But I decided I was going to go ahead and get it again. I saw it on my car listing. It was a really good listing. It was only $11, and it came with this, Resident Evil 5, and Last of Us. In fact, I actually didn't buy this myself. I sent it to a friend of mine because it was my birthday, and he was like, hey, let me hook you up with a gift. And if you want to see me unboxing this for the first time, it's in my birthday unboxing video from a few nights ago. I just forgot this is going up on the second channel. So if you want to see that video, you have to go to the link in the description of my main channel. It's just called Grotesque. You go over there, it'll be the video from a few nights ago. Then I got the Black Ops trilogy. You know, even though this is a joke of a game, I mean, that's the reason I got it. You gotta get it for the memes. Then finally, Alpha Protocol. This is a game that I have not played yet, but it was recommended to me by a very close friend of mine, and he said it's good. So I'm gonna give it a shot. And plus, it was made or published by Sega or whatever, so... Oh, Obsidian! Oh my god, Obsidian made this? Oh, dude, I think I am in for a treat. Obsidian is hands down one of my favorite RPG developers, so after seeing that, I think I might actually have to dive into this one later today. Ooh, I mean, it's a bit of a toss-up because MW2 just came out, so look, let me get to, like, max level at MW2, and then I'll think I'll be starting this one up. But anyways, yeah, those are the games that I got, and like I said, there's literally, like, 15 more on the way right now. They're all over the country, but if you guys want more videos like this, let me know. We're just kind of more raw. We sit down in front of the camera and talk. That's what I do here on my second channel. I keep these videos more raw, just a face-to-face, nice conversation talking about games. If you want to see my main channel, where it's a lot more chopped up and more professional, I guess you could say, there's a link in the description. Like I said, it's just called Grotesque. You can find me there uploading every single day at 7 p.m. Here on this channel, I don't really have a set schedule yet. I'm sorry. I try to upload every Friday, but I hasn't been going well so far. Anyways, that's that. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.